King's Quest II, second of the King's Quest franchise, and released in 1985. Yep, this one was set shortly after, I think, King's Quest 1. It's never really specified how long after. I would imagine maybe a year at most. And unlike the first game, this one's not set in Daventry, but set in the land of Kalima. Now, it opens as we have been some time, a bit of time into Graham's reign of Daventry, and he is feeling lonely. He's a king, he needs a queen. And so, he wishes to go in search of one. And this is mainly because the magic mirror shows him an image of Valenice. Not that he knows her name at the time. A lovely maiden stuck in a crystal or quartz tower. And so Graham decides it's time to take off the crown, put on his adventuring cap, and traveled to Kalima to rescue this lady in the tower. A girl in the tower. This will become relevant later in the series, but now, Kalima is another land that's like Daventry. It has some things lurking around, various legends linked to it. You have a house with grandma in it and Little Red Riding Hoods around there, as well as a big bad wolf. On an island in the middle of a poisoned lake is Dracula's castle. You can also encounter an evil sorcerer, a stealing gnome, and King Neptune. Now, the main enemy in this game happens to be is set to be an ugly hag of a witch named Hagatha. One could even say that she is an ogress. I mean, her appetite consists of eating humans. So, and Kalima is designed in a way where there is wraparound. And if you don't understand what that means, it means you can go north and south, and you could go south at the bottom of the map and end up on the north side of the top of the map. So it does have wraparound on it this time round. And it is up to you to utilize this. Well, not really utilize it, but it limits where you all can go. Now, unlike events in the past, well, you still must solve things as, quote, non-violently as possible. Believe it or not, solving things in a non-violent way can actually help you later on. In fact, there is only one violent thing you can do in this game that will award you positive points. I'll get to that in a bit. But as you explore Kalima, you will eventually find the location of the magic door that will lead you to the tower where Valenice is being held. That's great. But then you discover that this area, well, you find a door. And on the door is an inscription that gives you a hint on where to find the key for that door. Now, this bridge is notorious because you can only cross it 7 times. If you try to cross it 8, you die. A way to limit people, I would believe. Well, as you move through, well, your first key is kept by Neptune, so you must find a way to return something to Neptune to get the key. Once you get that, your next task is to retrieve the key from high up in the mountains. And to do that, you need to get something from a little antique shop that's on the eastern side of the lake. To do that, though, you must recover a nightingale which has been taken by Hagatha. Which means you have to brave your way into Hagatha's cave. And sometimes Hagatha is out and about, and sometimes she's in her cave. It should also be noted that this is home to one of the famous Easter eggs in the franchise. Or one of Sierra's more famous Easter eggs. Because there is a bat symbol above Hagatha's cave. And in a 1 in 64 shot, you can actually see the Batmobile from the 1960s Batman come out of the cave, along with na 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 na. Once you return the Nightingale, the shop owner will let you have a magic lamp that will allow you to access up in the clouds, or up on the mountainside, where you must either take a violent or non-violent path on getting past a viper, which, lo and behold, you find that it's a Pegasus. You behead the snake and then Pegasus appears out of it. Then you can get past and get the key from the cave. Also should be noted that if you look in a hole, you will actually see an advertisement for a Space Quest game. In other words, it was a shameless plug. Well, once you get that in there, yay! Then you must get the third key, which is in Dracula's castle. So you have to find a way to get across the poison lake, and it's at this point where there will, after you get to the third door, a ferryman will appear, and you have to, of course, either pay him or trick him. You must get past poison brambles. And to get past them, you have to literally be careful of how you walk. The poison brambles are very, very dangerous. One touch and you die. It's one of Sierra's notorious maze puzzles. Something they put in I swear, a lot of their early games, you have a maze puzzle somewhere. Well, once you are through all that, you are able to get into Dracula's castle, which has some of those famous stairways of death, or ramps of death. You must get the key, which is actually in Dracula's coffin. And so you'll need protection from Dracula, or you need to kill him. That's tricky. And that's the only violent event in the game that you actually get rewarded for. Yay, violence! Now, once you have that last key and open the gate, or open the last door, you can travel through. Now, it is theorized that where you travel through to is actually the far east end of Kalima, past an unpassable mountain range. And that the tower is on an island. Of course, to get to the island, you need to help a mystical fish. And you must find something on the island before you go and rescue Valanice. It should also be noted that she's being guarded by a hungry lion. Now, of course, these are sections that are notorious for if you don't go prepared, you're gonna get screwed. Because Sierra games, early computer games, you could get soft locked out of beating them. So if you don't have the right items to take with you, oh well. Meaning, for example, if you have the cloak, well, you head to Dracula's Island, but you don't have the cross, you're definitely out of luck. If you go up to if you give the wrong item to the mermaid, you will get killed. If you go through the door and not have everything you need, obviously you're out. You can't rescue Valanice. And also that bridge, Seven Crossing Bridge, it'll kill you. Now, of course, once you figure things out and rescue Valanice, you are treated to a wedding. A wedding with every character that was in the game as guests, as well as characters from the first game, which is kind of neat to see. And then you make your way home and back to Daventry. Now, this is a good game. This was a very good game. Yes, it had soft lock possibilities. And for an early game, you didn't necessarily have an over the top boss battle. In fact, Hagatha ends up being one of the few villains in the series who doesn't meet an horrible fate. Well, she doesn't die by the end of the game. She's, well, not many characters, quote, die, so to speak. She's, actually, when I come to think, but I'm digressing. Most characters face a feat that would take them out of being a problem for future. Hagatha is actually one of the few that doesn't have this happen. She's pretty much left where she is. One could say that her power over the land of Kalima is diminishing. And the remake of the game did hint that Valanice's father was part of the villainous Black Cloak Society, or Society of the Black Cloak, however you want to refer to it. It remains very iconic in the series. It's the first game to not use full wraparound. the king, like other kings, like King's Quest 3. It's very well designed. The limitation of that seven crossing bridge is a novel way. You still found it out by trial and error. Of course, if you saved the game after crossing it twice and didn't open that first door, well, or opening any of the doors on, well, let's face it, you don't really start getting able to get the keys until you read the marking on the door. So once you leave the door and come back, you can't do it again. When you commit to coming back to the doors, you have to have the key. Or you could get to one or two or, before opening the third door and end up dying because cross the bridge too many times. And yes, early games, you could have that happen. Part of why Sierra started really marketing the motto, save early, save often, in their games. But this was a nice game. Another of their AGI game engine games. And that's all I'm going to say about King's Quest 2. It was a wonderful game. I enjoyed it. And it really did help with the overall storyline of the series. And that's all I'm going to say. As always, thank you for listening if you have been listening the whole time. And this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere. Have a good one all. Bye.